Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Melly G, and I have an update on the Summer Waves Elite. Mine is a 16 by 48, and the skimmer filter pump is a 1500 plus SFX. The last time we talked, was having some major issues with the ceramic rod, and we went to the brass rod, and my first two brass rods broke, which were cut by the hardware store. I believe they were a little bit too long, so we cut a new one, and it was working okay, except for when I went to replace it, I tried to pull the impeller from inside the pump instead of pulling the motor out from the bottom, and when I did that, I broke off a couple of the little wings. So what was happening is the motor would stop or just start humming. I would have to take out the impeller, grease it up, put it back in. It would work for a little bit. We were having some storms, electricity was going off. When the pump would come back on, it would either just hum or make a loud rattling noise. But either way, when I would get it running again, it was just sounding horrible and struggling. I knew the brass rod was just a temporary fix. So instead of purchasing a whole new motor or impeller, which was going to cost, I believe the impeller was around $90, the whole new motor was around $190, I decided to just go ahead and upgrade, which I had been planning on doing, to the Intex, and this is the 1200. They have a 2100, a 2800, and a 3000. And I just used the information off the Intex website to determine which one I needed for the amount of volume of water that my pool holds. So I purchased this from Home Depot. It was less expensive from Home Depot than it was from Intex, Walmart, or Amazon. So the price of this was $173. And I didn't have to pay shipping because I had them just send it straight to the store. And so far, and I've only had it running a couple of days, I'm pretty pleased with it. I didn't have to do much to convert it. Whenever you purchase it, of course, the hoses are screw-on, but in my case, I could not do that. So really all I had to do is put on a clamp to hold it down. Now the hose is 1.5, and so is my spout here for the tank. Some people have 1 1/4 here, and they do make adapters that go right over it, and it has a clamp that comes with it. And you just clamp it on there, and then you screw the hose to it, which I purchased, and obviously it didn't work because because the size of my little spout here. So that is all I had to do to get that to work. Now for the outtake, I wanted to go ahead and convert it to the Intex outtake. So what I had to do, of course, the manufacturer outtake hole here is smaller than the Intex. So I just took a little razor blade and made a few slices, just enough to get this to come through. Once I had that come through, I was able to just cut around the area that I needed to with the guidance. When this is off, I just used that as a guide. But I, of course, had to drain my pool below the water level here. It had to be right around here so we didn't have water, you know, coming out at you. and I was able to do that fairly easy, and it fits real snug in here. I don't have any leakage, and I also have the outtake. To vacuum the pool, I'm using the exact same vacuum adapter. My tank, I did buy the conversion for the bottom so that I could take the motor completely out. This is completely sealed up with it comes with plumber's tape. So the bottom here is solid. So there's no leaking, which I was having a problem with the other one leaking because I had removed it so many times. And they're supposed to come with a rubber gasket. Mine did not come with one. So over time, it did start leaking a little bit, and I just could not get it to stop. So, you know, I just felt like it was time to convert it over. I do have the skimmer basket in here, and because it's not attached to anything, because there's nothing in there, so it's not attached to anything, when the pump is not on, it will float up because there's nothing suctioning it down. Now when I vacuum, I just use my normal attachment that I had before and put it in here. I've only had to vacuum once because I've only had this up a couple days. I was down for about a week. But I kept the skimmer basket in here thinking it would catch the big stuff. But the suction was not very good. So when I vacuum this next time, I will have to take this basket out. And I'll probably have a better suction. But you also have this piece right here. I have one leaf in there, but you will take that apart and that catches the big stuff, so that will have to be cleaned out. One thing I do not have yet, which has been shipped, I'm waiting on the order, is the cutoff valves. You're going to need a cutoff valve from here, which will attach here, and then the hose will attach to it. And it will fit fine, so I won't have to make any conversions for that. But it's also going to attach right here. Now I'm not sure if it's going to work the same as I have the hose right here attaching it. So I won't know until I get that. But the hose itself will attach to the cutoff valve. So then I will be able to turn the water off to make sure there's no flowing if I need to remove the hoses, but also most importantly when I need to clean that out. Otherwise, as soon as you take this hose off, water goes everywhere. You can close, there's a close section here, and that will close the water off from flowing. But as soon as you take these hoses off of here without that cutoff valve, it's gonna flow water everywhere. I have tried to use my regular plug on the tank, but then there's still the water that's in the tank and in the hose, so you have to like have a bucket or something and have more than one person to drain it. Just think it's easier and less complicated once I get those valves. I could have purchased one from the hardware store, Home Depot or Lowe's, and come up with some conversion for that. But honestly, I wanted to make it as easy as possible and stick with the manufacturer accessories. So I ended up buying the valve, the cutoff valves from Intex. They're $14.99 for one or $19.99 for two. You do have to pay shipping, but by the time you pay shipping, it's still not as much as the ones on Amazon or Walmart after people have price gouged you. Even eBay. I mean, just one is like $35. So I just thought that was too much. If I could save a little bit of money, I'm definitely going to do that. And then plus, I don't know where they're coming from when they come from those places. And I don't know how long they've had them, if they're used. So I just ordered the new ones from Intex. Now the pump on the Intex website was over $300. So that's why I I just decided to, you know, purchase it from Home Depot. It's the exact same one, brand new. And it was less expensive than Walmart and Amazon. So I still have a little bit more stuff I need to do out here. We've had a lot of rain, and with the pump being down for about a week, I just wanted to go ahead and get it set up. I'm going to get some more blocks here to put side by side, and then also step it up some. So I want it to be a little bit more elevated from the ground, because when it does rain or if we have a leak. This, you will have to get a hose, or if you have the cutoff valve, you can use the outtake hose. But I actually just kind of rigged one up to work. But that's for backwashing, rinsing, and if you want to use the vacuum and have the water go straight out of there and use the waste, then when you're using that, it's not going to go through the filter. I was not able to get a good suction using it with the waste, so I just used it on filter. When you first get one of these, the first thing you're going to do after you get it set up and have the sand put in it is you've got to backwash it, and then you've got to rinse it before you start it on your pool, or you're going to have a big old mess inside your pool. I will link the sand that I purchased. It's not regular pool sand. It's actually supposed to help with the chemicals and the balance. So I will link that. It will last a really long time. You don't have to change the sand out, but maybe once every couple of years is from what I'm understanding. I guess the more I use this and as time goes on, I'll know a little bit more about that. This one actually has a timer. So when you turn it on, whatever your hour was set to last is what's going to show up. I have mine set at 7 right now, but you can change it. It'll go up to 12. And once you set your timer and it's completed its cycle, the very next day, the pump will turn on itself and do that same amount of time. So I have vacuumed once. I didn't get it very good because of the suction, and it was really dirty from being down for a week. So I'm going to get in the pool and actually vacuum again, taking that skimmer basket out. And now that it's running, you can see the skimmer basket is staying there. And you can see, look at that flow. So much stronger than what it was previously. Also, there's a air valve here. Still learning a little bit more about this air valve, but basically gets some air, makes the flow a little bit stronger. It is a good thing to use. It helps with keeping your pool nice and clear. I have the plug on it right now because I did have to shock my pool yesterday, and I had to do some pH balancing because we had so much rain and it had been down for a week. So it's pretty clear right now. It's just the bottom is dirty, and I need to get in there and vacuum, and hopefully this time I'll be able to vacuum better than last time. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with what I've got going on here. Again, I've got to make some adjustments to my setup. I'm going to move that back some, elevate it. Got to make sure the ground is level that it's on. It does not need to be unlevel. So I'm going to get all that taken care of. We've had so much rain, and then plus I made a big old mess with these hoses since I didn't have a cutoff valve. So we're still kind of dirty over here. Once I get all that done, Oh, and I broke my edging, so I've got to replace that and get my rocks settled back like they're supposed to be, and then I'll be looking good again. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with what's going on. I'm ready for those valves to come in. Once I get those in, I'll show you guys what they look like and the conversion for that. I'll link everything in the description below and keep you guys updated on how this new pump is working for me. But so far, so good. Okay guys, so I'm in the pool vacuuming and doing it the exact same way I did in my previous video. So if you want to see how to vacuum a Summer Waves pool, please take a look at that. So I've got the same attachment in there, except what I've done is I have removed that skimmer basket, and wow, what a difference. Huge difference. Even from before with the regular pump, I would have to go over things a few times to make sure I pick it up. But right now, I'm just going over this and it is picking it up in the first swap. So I'm extremely happy about that. I thought I was going to have to buy a vacuum that did not attach to the hose pump, but I'm so glad I don't have to buy a different one, and this is working out so well. It's picking it up just on the first swap, and I don't see anything getting stirred up, moving around, so I'm not gonna have to worry about having to re-vacuum after it settles. Everything is coming up so well. So I'm going to finish vacuuming the pool, and I will show you guys the finished product. Okay, so I have finished vacuuming the pool, and I cleaned the sidewalls, which after I vacuumed, I should have done it before. It's got a few things lingering now in the bottom, but I have finished. It only took me about half the time as it normally would, but as you can tell, super clean now. Everything looks so good. I'm so happy. So next, what I will be doing is taking the vacuum adapter out. I am going to be cleaning out the little filter down there that has leaves in it, and I am going to backwash and rinse before I start the filter again. Okay, so I've finished vacuuming the pool, and I have cleaned out this filter thing here. Now, of course, I kind of have a mess from water because I don't have that cutoff valve yet, but I was able to do it. How I did it was I used the regular black plug. I had to hold it there while my husband undid that hose and let out the water from the hose and the tank, and then we just unscrewed that and cleaned it out. While I was doing that, I made sure I had this on closed because you don't want, water will still come through if you don't close that from the outtake. So once I get those cutoff valves, it's going to make a huge difference for me. And I won't have to have anybody to help me. I can just turn the valves off, let the existing water out of the hose. Again, this is on closed. It is recommended that you only have that on closed when the power is off of the pump. So this hose, I kind of rigged up myself. This is the original hose that came from the pump with the Summer Waves. And these attachments were those attachments I purchased thinking they would work for the pump, but it didn't. So I just rigged up some attachments, and the black hose is just a drain hose I got at Lowe's for like 14 bucks, and it works. So until I get another hose, this is what I'm going to use for now. It's getting close to end of summer, so a lot of places don't have a lot of summer equipment or swimming pool equipment. So my next step is to go ahead and backwash and clean it. So I'm going, you never move this while the pump is on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this to backwash. And then I'm just going to turn my power on. And you only have to backwash for about a minute or two until the water comes out and it's clean. I like to do it for about a minute or so. The water that I'm losing, I can always put back in the pool, but you can tell this water is dirty. So we want to backwash that out because we don't want that to go back in the pool. I know the sand filters it, but I choose to just go ahead and backwash it and get it out of there. If I had it on the waste setting while I was vacuuming, it would just directly come out of here, come out and not even go through the sand filter. But we're just cleaning it and letting it backwash. You can already tell the water is getting clearer. Just gonna let that go for about a minute. See, now we've got some clear water. So once that's really clear and clean, then you're gonna rinse. So the reason why you rinse is when you backwash, that is messing the sand around in the tank. So rinse settles it all down for you. So I'm just gonna turn my pump off. I'm gonna turn it to rinse. Turn it back on. I'm gonna let it rinse for about a minute also. Minute, 2 minutes, and then it settles everything down. So I've rinsed for a couple minutes, maybe a couple minutes long, but I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that off. I'm gonna put this on in and make sure I don't have any air in the tank. Said release it until there's water coming out. There's water coming out, so now I'm just gonna push that back in there, close that back up real good. Put this back on filter. Oh, sorry. Close it. I've got to unhook this. Got to unhook this before you put it on filter. Okay, so I'm finished rinsing. I took the hose off. I've put it on closed for now. While I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and add some water into the pool just to raise the level a little bit more. It can be a little higher than what it was with this old pump. So something I suggest before you restart your pump, if you're using this skimmer basket, take it out. because it will float up and it will block, and then there's not going to be enough water that's going to come down. So now I can turn it back on, put it on filter, turn the pump back on. We are flowing really good. I'm probably going to take this off after I get finished filming, just because if I take it off right now, it's a little bit louder. But I am going to put my skimmer basket back in here. I actually don't know that I really like that in there because it floats up so much, and it worries me that it's going to float up and it's going to block this. So they do have an external skimmer, but I would have to use this attachment, hook the hose to this for the external skimmer basket. So I haven't quite decided if that's what I'm going to do yet. Trying not to spend too much more money on this thing. But we are up and going. Now I'm just going to pick up all my stuff because I don't like to leave it out. Pick up my hose down here. And I am done cleaning the pool for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, weekend. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My email is in the description, and you can comment. I'm trying to get back to everyone as soon as possible. I did start a new job, so I'm a little behind on responding, but bear with me. So go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe, and turn the notification bell on. See you guys later. Bye.